And we are recording. Hey everybody, it is Christina and Monica again. I hope you're not sick of us already, but last night was pretty epic. I don't think we've ever gotten so many comments on a live training like we did last night, and that makes us feel really good that you guys are embracing this process of learning, kind of the tools, tricks of the trade when it comes to Instagram. Yesterday was just a tip of the iceberg, but it was an important tip because, aesthetically, you want your account to be appealing. You want to draw people in visually before we get to content. And today we're talking about that content, and we have a lot to cover, but we have a few things that we wanted to address before we get into our presentation today, which is not going to be as long as yesterday, but it is going to be intense in terms of what we're going to share with you. So really have to pay attention. One of the things that we saw yesterday was kind of people a little bit deflated after our presentation, kind of feeling down in the dumps about their account right now. Here's the thing, you guys. Our accounts were crap at the beginning of Instagram. When we jumped on this platform and started using it for our business, we didn't know what we were doing. It has been a process of learning, a process of studying other accounts, whether coaches or businesses or bloggers or whatever the case may be, and molding our accounts slowly, methodically, and purposefully to what they are today. If you were to look at my account even a year ago or 2 years ago, it looks nothing like it looks now, and I still have a really long way to go. I am not here telling you that my account is the most beautiful, has the best content, has any of that. I'm just a student just like you, but what we do know is we are seeing based on our business, right? Monica and I and some of the coaches on our team and the coaches on the network that we're going to draw inspiration from, we get results with our Instagram accounts, right? So there has to be something we're doing right. Whether we can put our finger on it and tell you it's this, I can't do that. But if you study some of the trends and some of the techniques and some of the tools that we use, perhaps, and I think you will, start getting results on Instagram with your business. And that's the key to this. You are not, absolutely not going to wake up today, change everything, and start seeing results immediately. I wish that that were the case. I wish that you can create the most beautifully aesthetic Instagram account right now, and tomorrow sign five new challengers or 5 new coaches. Unfortunately, that's not the way this works. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes consistency. It takes trying new things. It takes a whole lot of things to get in that groove when it comes to Instagram, where you just feel confident, you feel comfortable, you know what to do next. All of that is going to take a little bit of time. So let's not beat ourselves up at all. That's the last thing we want to do. I don't want to deflate you. I want to build you up with tools and techniques that you can start implementing right now to in the future, in a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year. You guys, I didn't wake up and have 31 that I can't get to 32. I'm like, all right, give me that 32. I didn't go get to 32,000 followers in a day. It's taken me, I swear to you, 7 years since I've been on Instagram? Like, I've been on Instagram for a really long time. Is it worth it? Fuck yeah, it's worth it. Like, all my business now is coming from this amazing platform that, like Bonnie Engel says, and I'll repeat it till I'm blue in the face, is free 99. We don't have to pay for it. Not like Facebook, where you do have to pump money into ads, and I don't think anybody's been able to figure that out yet. Instagram is free. So let's take time, let's learn it, let's have fun in the process, and let's build our accounts. Are you ready, Monica? I'm gonna screen share so we can get this ball rolling. Hold on. Okay, let's go ahead and There we go. You want to start with your disclaimer?
Okay, well, what I was going to say to kind of piggyback off of what Christina was just talking about is that I saw a couple of you saying, I'm going to go back to my account now and delete everything I've done. And I want to tell you, like, stop right there. Don't do that. Here's a couple reasons why. Number one, I would say that kind of looks a little iffy, right? If all of a sudden everything you've been doing until now, you erase. Someone that's been following you is like, hey, what's going on here? And then all of a sudden you completely change your ways. I would say that that's a red flag. Remember, guys, what you've done up till now, something has been right because you've built a business up until right now. So don't be, feeling, like Christina said, deflated with what you've done so far, or feeling embarrassed or wanting to go and tear it all down to put something back up, because it is a building process. And remember, the whole purpose of this training for us to you is to help you elevate your game, to get better, right? Like Christina said, neither one of us woke up one day and we're just like experts on Instagram. In fact, that's never going to happen because we talked about this yesterday. It's forever evolving and changing. So we got to evolve and change with it. So let your followers, let your coaches, let your challengers see you evolving, see you stepping up your game. That's a beautiful thing for people to see you flourish and become and grow into the person that, the business owner that you are. So stop deleting all the stuff you've done until now. It is there and you did well with it, with what you knew. And now it's time to learn new things. Okay, so that's the disclaimer for the day.
So today we're talking about content. Yesterday we talked about imagery, about color schemes, about filters, about the things that you see. And today we're going to add a component to your Instagram account based on what you write, the content below your pictures. And remember what I said yesterday. This is super important. If you have really crappy pictures and they're blurry, we got smudge marks all over them, and they're not visually appealing, you can have written the most heartfelt, most impactful story post on your feed, and not a lot of people are going to read it if the image itself doesn't draw them in. So never take for granted how they work hand in hand, imagery and content. But today we're going to talk all about content. Monica's going to take you through an exercise that will be what we do today later on in the group. Everyone, she'll walk you through it, but it's going to be key because, like I've always said, and I've always preached, when it comes to social media, you have to know who you are in order to create content for the tribe you want to build. Remember, the point of Instagram, the point of social media in general, is to find your tribe, is to find the people like you that you connect with on a profound level and do this life with, right? To do not only business and fitness, but life, right? That you want to travel with, that you want on your team, that you want to cheer on, that you want to help change their life. That's the point of this. And so first, and absolutely foremost, you have to know who you are. So Monica, let's take them through your exercise.
Okay, so I call this black and white versus color, okay? And social media, we could be living in a black and white world. What I mean by that is that we're going to constantly see the same things happening on social media, right? A lot of people doing the same repetitive things, especially in the coaching network. So how is it that you can make yourself stand out? How can you make yourself colorful in a busy black and white social media world? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, I remember when I first started really digging into my business and figuring out my brand and realized, because I realized, I saw Christina's always been a couple of steps ahead of me in the business, right? She's always been that trail the blaze for me, blaze the trail, whatever, I said that backwards, for me, and I followed her. And I would watch her, okay, she's 2 steps ahead of me. What is she doing that I need to start doing that I'm not quite there yet? And I realized that she was starting to brand herself. She was starting to create a name for herself, and she was using these identifiers over and over and over that we knew, okay, that's Christina Delgado. And I'm like, I looked at myself and I was like, do I have that? And I didn't, and I did not know exactly what I was representing. And so I knew that I had to sit down and figure that out. Now, many of you right now listening, and I saw a lot of you posting this yesterday. How many of you, when someone says, okay, tell me about yourself, it's like, you just freeze and you're like, mom, wife, and I work a lot. That's it. Because that's what I felt like. I'm like, mom, wife, and I work a lot. And that's it. Like, I'm not interesting. I'm the most boring person on the face of the earth. That's how I felt. Raise your hand if you felt the same way. And I know I can't see anybody, but I know you're raising your hands because that's so common. Because here's the thing. Most of us in our lives have never been tested or really sat down, especially as adults, and asked this question, like, who are you? You've never been challenged to bring to the table all the things about you. In fact, if you're at a point of life where you already have a family, a career, and so many other hats that you wear in your life, aside from your coaching business, you probably find yourself giving more to others than even thinking about yourself. So for someone to sit down and say, okay, who are you, Christina? Who are you, Monica? Who are you? All of you guys out there, you're like paralyzed. Well, we're going to challenge you to do that today. We're going to help you do that today, because the most beautiful part to me about this business is that is going to be your entire value. What you can carry with you to grow this business in such a profound way is going to be what's going to take you to the next level. Like you don't have to be anybody outside of who you already are. And a lot of us think that we need to be the next, fitness model, and you have to have a tremendous transformation. You have to be this, big, whatever, fabulous writer, or all these kinds of things that we think we need to be. But really, honestly, you just need to be yourself, and you just have to be able to identify that and be so crystal clear about who you are that you can project that. And like Christina said, begin to attract the tribe that you want to do this with. This business is so intimate. Social media, it gives us a platform to get intimate with people. And like I think Vanessa Lopez just said right now in the thread, she says, and we've got seconds to make that connection. But social media allows us to make that connection with people. We just got to be super smart about it and make sure that we're putting out the right content to attract our market, to attract our tribe of people that we want to grow this with. All right. So what we're doing is we're going to create what's called a colorful wheel. Okay. And each piece of this wheel, each piece of the pie that you see here, you guys are all going to take the time between today and tomorrow. And I do want to give this other disclaimer that this is going to be forever evolving. There are still things that I'm starting to figure out about myself. There's still things like, and I'll even hear somebody else say something and I'm like, and I'll relate to it and I'll be able to conform it to who I am. But it's going to be forever evolving. And things, I know for me, things from my past, as I started to dig into this exercise myself, and again, it took me some time, things from my past, I would start to connect the dots like, okay, what I do as a coach, right? Building this business from the ground up, the hustle that I have, the grit that I have, the determination, like the way that I wake up every single day, and no matter what is going on, I'm like, I need this, I want this. Like, where did that come from? It took me some time to connect the dots that, well, hello, Monica, you were raised by a woman who is a multiple business owner, who was raised by a woman who's also a multiple business owner, my grandmother, my mother. And this is something and I didn't realize that I was raised this way around it, not raised that way, but raised around it, that possibly molded me into the person that I am, that is a go-getter. And so I started to connect these dots. Same thing with fitness. Sometimes, I'll be very honest with you, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around how people won't drink a shake and push play each day. Like, how can you not? And why is that? Because I'm able to connect what the outcome of that is, right? And I'm able to connect with the pain that if you don't do it, what that can lead to. I grew up overweight. I grew up teased and bullied. I grew up where fitness saved me as a person, right? And grew me into the woman that I am. I truly believe that. So for me, I know what the pain feels like to be able to connect it to now the outcome and how it can save someone's life. I don't understand. To me, sometimes I have to slow down and be like, people do not know that if they just push play, drink the shake, where it could take them. And so I had to start connecting things about me to be able to identify, okay, why am I how I am? And what's the message I want to get out there and share? And why am, and to be able to identify all these things and just be the vision so clear of who I'm looking for and who I want to talk to. And that's what I want you guys to do today. We're going to give you this colorful pie here. It's going to actually be black and white. And we're going to expect you between today and tomorrow to start to fill out as many pieces of pie as you can. Things about you. Dig deep. Yes, you're a mother. Yes, you're a wife. Yes, you could be a business owner, a fur mom. There's so many things, but dig a little bit deeper. Challenge yourself and dig a little bit deeper and start to find things about you that you can later, as Christina's going to talk about in a quick second, you can later begin to breadcrumb. Because while every post that we put out there does not need to be a dissertation, like everything doesn't have to be this grand old story, it is imperative that you are a storyteller, that you are out there bridging. Now that you've caught somebody's attention, now that you've made the connection, how are you going to bridge and create a quote unquote relationship with them where they begin to feel like they know you? Just this morning, I got a message from a woman, and I actually reposted it on my Instagram stories telling me, I'm a complete stranger, but every single day, the things that you say, the things that you post, the stories that you share, I connect with. That to me means everything, because it means all the things that I'm doing, while I may not get that instant gratification, like today, you could go and post this amazing post and really pour your heart and who you are into it. And you could get crickets, and that's going to happen in the beginning. You have to know that with time, it's going to serve its purpose. With time, you're going to make those connections. With time, the right eyes are going to land on them. But you got to keep doing them. You got to continuously breadcrumb who you are so that people can come and pick up those breads and, and follow you and find you and be able to build a business, hopefully, with these people. Christina's going to talk about the different ways that we could breadcrumb, but I want to just kind of give you guys ideas of the thing. Wait, I lost my train of thought. Hold on, because my screen just closed off. No, I think that was it. That's all I had, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically using the wheel to pick apart you, right? Each piece of the pie should be an aspect of you that you are going to share on a consistent basis on your Instagram feed. So I actually created a list, and I'm gonna fill this in on my wheel, and I'm gonna share mine so that you can see some of the things that are on my wheel, so you can understand by looking at my Instagram account how this works hand in hand. So my wheel would be something like this: wife, mom of two, autism mom, fitness motivator, former fit-ish girl, a coffeeaholic, an inspirational writer, a business mentor, wine drinker, keys living, meme obsessed, spiritually handicapped, workaholic, and network leader. Now, knowing me and following me on Instagram, I hope some of you do. I think most of you do, and you don't have to, by the way. But if you do, I think that if I hadn't said that that was me, that you would have been able to say, I know who that is. That's Christina Delgado. Does that make sense? Like, that's the key of this. That when you do this and you put who you are on this colorful wheel, and you gotta be honest, right? Veronica, Monica's sister, is a Trekkie. She loves Star Trek. So I would expect that one part of her wheel is going to be that aspect of her personality. And that when you look at her Instagram account, which you can right now, you see that. Michelle Zubalak, I think that's her last name. She calls herself the fit nerd. And I love that. Like, she wears her glasses. She's super cute. I don't think she's a nerd, but that's how she identifies herself. So I'm sure that on her wheel, there's going to be some aspect of that. Monica, let's say Arlene, very pink and sparkly, right? So, Monica's wheel would say pinkaholic. Arlene's wheel would say pinkaholic. So these are the things that when you then look at your Instagram account, or in the future as you're building your Instagram account to be representative of you, not only in imagery, but in content, that these things are prevalent, right? They pop out at you because it is who you are. And this entire business, you guys, as much as you want to fight it or not understand it, that's how you build a successful business, is by being unapologetically you, but understanding that you have to never forget you're a business leader. You're a business person. You're building something on social media, so you have to keep it politically correct. You have to keep it PG. You can have fun with that, but you are building a business, and so you want that to be representative of who you are. So let's talk a little bit about what do you breadcrumb. I'm a big believer on Gary Vaynerchuk's book, Jab, 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 Right Hook. I think that that is such a perfect analogy to what we do on social media to build our business. Whether it's jabbing to right hook into a challenge group or jabbing to right hook into the business opportunity, it is something that we have to get good at, because that's how you build that trust factor with your followers, right? So once you understand who you are and who you want to project on your Instagram account, these are kind of the things that we came up with that are great for breadcrumbing your story, right? And your story has so many different facets to it. You have to understand that. One day I could talk about DJ and autism. The next day I could talk about the challenges of raising a girl. The next day I can talk about my struggle with fitness and staying consistent in my fitness. The next day I can talk about this, that, and the other. So remember, these are all just breadcrumbs of your story. Now, the first one is a super important content piece for your Instagram account. Yesterday we talked about how to take the selfie. Now, why do you take the selfie? Selfies are like what I think in the 21st century, the windows to the soul. That's just the way it is. You can find that silly, but it really is important on social media because, like I said yesterday, your pictures transfer energy. And when you transfer that energy through your eyes and through your smile in a selfie, in a great selfie with great lighting, then you're going to read the content below it. And so you want to get good at selfies with a story. And they can range from anything related to your fitness, to why you're a coach, to why you drink Shakeology, to why you post on social media, to why, and you can create the list. But that selfie is what draws you in, and then you want to get good at dropping that story underneath it. And you can look at any Melanie Mitchell's account, any successful coach. Every time you are scrolling and there's a selfie, you better believe that there's probably a really good point for that selfie being there. There's usually a story that's going to make an impact underneath that. On Thursday, we're going to talk about inviting, and you're going to see a little bit more of what that means, selfie with a story. But these are great. The selfie with the story technique are great for those posts where you use language like, I was you once. I relate because. I know how you feel because that was me. Does that make sense? How it's where you get people to relate to who you are, to reflect on where they are in their journey, and then take action, right? So it's a very important piece to content writing, is understanding when to use a powerful selfie with a powerful story attached to it. Okay, we're really good at this one, right? Selfie sweaty and post-workout shot. A lot of times, these don't have to be very complicated, but there's gonna be occasions when you become inspired in your workout. And I know that you guys that are doing 80-Day Obsession, you could probably write a book on all the motivational quotes and pieces that Autumn talks about in each video, really. So when you become inspired by something she said because it relates so much to where you are or have been or are going, when you post that sweaty selfie or the post-workout shot, talk about how you felt. Talk about how it made you feel when she said that, and how you reflect on whatever it is she said and learn from it, right? This is where the inspiration piece comes in when it comes to fitness, right? Don't just throw up the selfie and say, there you go, I did my workout, peace out. You know, it might be a great picture, but if there's a point to what you're saying, share it, right? Extrapolate on what it is that you are feeling. Remember, this business, the act of selling in our line of work is a transference of belief and emotion. It is not a transference of facts or anything like that. People don't care what you do. They care why you're doing it. And you have to be able to transfer through your written word why. Transfer your emotion and transfer your belief in what you are doing through your content, right? So use those sweaty selfies for a reason. Like Monica said yesterday, post with a purpose. Transformations. Now, this is an easy one, right? Transformations should always be part of your Instagram feed because we are in the business of transformations. We are in the business of helping people in their health, fitness, and also in their business. And I love when you're able to combine all those three things with a transformation picture. You want to use yours and you want to use others. I think a lot of times coaches make the mistake of doing one or the other, right? They will only feature their story and not some members of their team, or they'll feature only stories of or pictures of their team and not theirs. You want to have a healthy combination of this. Why? I said it yesterday, the trust factor. You are a coach and the people following you want to know what you bring to the table, right? So they want to know, number one, that you're walking the walk, and not only talking the talk, but you're walking the walk when it comes to being a fitness coach and living the Beachbody lifestyle, right? So you have to highlight your transformation, and imagery is really important here, but content is also super important. Remember, when you post a transformation, it's not just look at me, look how awesome I am, look, 80-day obsession, 80-day obsession, 80-day obsession. No, it's why. And there has to be something in that transformation that people can relate to, right? So, you know, when I got picked for the 80-day obsession test group, I was going through this huge kind of physical, mental, emotional, spiritual transformation where I needed to release a lot of excuses. I needed to get real with myself. And I made a promise to myself that I was going to share with complete transparency that entire process. And you guys, my business has never been stronger. Where I broke down all the barriers, where I broke down everything that I thought was shameful in being a Beachbody coach. Drinking, my procedure that I had done, all that stuff, I just ripped the Band-Aid off and said, when I'm going to share a transformation, or when I'm going to even share a sweaty selfie, I'm going to be the most vulnerable coach on Instagram.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's power in vulnerability. And one thing I want to interject and say about those first three, selfie with a story, sweaty selfie, and transformation. Your tone matters. I think sometimes we have where it's, what's your excuse? Like, I did this and this, what's your excuse? Versus, I remember when I once felt this way. I remember when I once was here in my life. I remember when this was impossible. And now today, I want to interject and talk about the tone also, and adding value and breadcrumbing in a way that you uplift people in what you're saying, and you inspire them and motivate them to move. And that is the power of vulnerability right there. I just want to point that out because that's key.
That's actually a really fantastic point, because the point of all this, and I know Monica's going to agree, is not to do this with yourself, is not to separate yourself from everybody else. It's actually to bring you together, right? And so how I brought my followers on Instagram closer to me is to break down and become vulnerable and share everything, and not hold back on what people were going to think about my gaining 20 pounds, what people were going to think that I was admitting to drinking way too much and having way too much fun and having no control nutritionally. And I said, I'm going to relate the most if I break down and I close the gap with people, instead of saying, you know, all you have to do is commit, come on, commit, and you can do this too, like no excuses. Sometimes it's okay to do the no excuse thing, but remember, it's bridging the gap that's important. So that's an excellent point. And just along the lines of transformations, it's really about sharing a story. It's about sharing how this person whether it's you or a challenger or a coach on your team or a coach on Diesel Nation, took the tools that we had and transformed their life, right? Every time I have someone share on a sneak peek or anything where they're going to share their story, I always say, how did Beachbody change your life? So always have that in the back of your head as you are drafting these transformation content posts. Challenger spotlights, right? You want to take your challengers that are having success and you want to spotlight them on your feed and share their story. Same thing goes for coach spotlights and for recognition. A lot of people don't want to do this. Well, you're total disservice to your business and to your team if you're not sharing the wins that you're having and the wins that your team is having, no matter the size. You can have a team of, a bunch of PS coaches or a team of 3 PS coaches. You spotlight them, you share, because that's contagious, and you want to share what it means, right? You don't have to use the lingo, you don't have to do all of that, but share the excitement that you are building a business and recognize, because guess what, you guys, people are watching, people are needing recognition in their life, and if they're seeing that you're a coach and that you're recognizing the teammates on your team for doing whatever, it doesn't really matter. People need that in their life. They want that in their life, and they're going to relate to that and want to reach out. You want to share family and unique family stories, right? Keep your family in the realm of your Instagram feed. I see so many times people say, well, I don't want to share, my family stuff publicly, or I'm going to create a separate Instagram account for my business. Big mistake. Big mistake. You want to have your life available, because this is about relating to people. So if you're only sharing fitness, you're not going to be relatable to that stay-at-home mom that is looking for something else. The fact that you are a mom, the fact that you are a wife or a husband or whatever, has to be part of the story. In my situation, I have a unique family story that my son is autistic. And so I share stories about him. And guess what? A lot of my followers, a lot of my tribe, if you look at the coaches on my team, Miranda Thornsberry, Adriana Menendez, I can go, Vanessa Ferrero, who works with special needs children. I can go on and on and on about how my sharing of DJ's story and how it affected us and how we overcame and how we did all these things has attracted an enormous amount of people who have similar situations in their life, whether through them having special needs children or they work with special needs children. It's freaking freaky how that happens, but just do it. Share your unique family stories. Food with purpose. Monica showed you yesterday after our call pretty food pics. When you're going to share food, it's not just look at what I'm eating, right? If you're going to share food, you should be sharing recipes. You should be sharing how it works with your fixed nutrition plan or ADD obsession nutrition plan, why you're eating this way, how you're eating this way has made a difference in your weight, in the way you feel, etc. Videos, obviously, we talked about that yesterday in terms of how they look, but also same thing here. There has to be a purpose behind it. One thing that's great in sharing with videos is showing you winning with a move that you couldn't do before, right? Like push-ups on your toes, and then sharing the excitement of being able to do 5 on your toes or 10 on your toes, or like Monica was sharing yesterday, those side planks with a knee pull. Like those are really hard, and you could share like, a week ago, I couldn't do this. 2 weeks ago, I couldn't do this, because that inspires people, right? There has to be a purpose. And then we talk about humor and memes. If that's part of your personality, you should obviously include that in your Instagram. It's a huge part of my Instagram account. In fact, I did one today. I didn't think it was going to have such a reaction. I'm almost at 1,000 likes with it. It's insane. And people are tagging people in the meme, and that's what I want. I want my posts to get attention, right? So it's important that you drop the humor post every so often, if that fits with who you are. because they do get a lot of attention. And then motivational quotes, they used to be really, really, really big and popular on social media, especially when we first became coaches. But I think now you can get really creative with them, and there has to be a reason why you're posting them. So, share a story, share what that quote means to you in your content, not just throwing it up for the double tap. No, you want to share why. Am I missing anything else, Monica? I do. I have one more thing to say, but you can go ahead.
Well, I don't know if it's going to bridge into what I'm about to say, but now with everything that we've taught you guys between yesterday, the visual together with the value. The reason why we wanted to put these two things in the forefront and teach these things first is, I don't know if you've noticed, but the algorithms on Instagram have changed a lot. Before, it would be, chronological order, right? What you posted is what popped up, and that's what people would see. But things have changed. If you see there are certain posts that will be 3-4 days old that are shot up to the front first thing in the morning on your feed that somebody posted. What are the things that are getting those posts shot up? And it's engagement. It's more than just the double tap. It's engagement. And with what Christina's sharing now, and with everything that we've taught you guys between the visual and the value you're adding underneath it, is that enough to create someone to go out of their way and write back to you and have a comment to say, or post an emoji of agreement, or a laughing face, something. That should be the goal, because that is what's going to keep it recycled over and over. And that's where you start to see your posts carry a lot of weight and go a long way. So we wanted to put this in the beginning of the training because it's important. The algorithms on Instagram have changed. And if you want to get those impressions and you want to get the number of the followers up, this is key to put the TLC. Remember we talked about yesterday, one great post is worth 5 shittier ones that you just threw up there. And I don't know what you had left to say, Christina, but take it away.
I was going to add one more to this list, and that is objections.
Oh, good one.
If you are having an issue, right, there's always seasons for me in the business, and it might be different for you. Right now, I'm in a season where I'm getting a lot of, I want to do 80-day obsession, but I don't want to drink Shakeology, right? People want to back out of the shake component of the challenge pack. And so today on my list of to-dos is to publicly on my feed combat that objection by posting a picture and sharing why you need Shakeology to do 80-day obsession, so that everyone that's following me that reads the post can now understand and they can understand my thinking on why 80-day obsession requires Shakeology, why I require Shakeology for my 80-day obsession challenge groups. If you are having a hard time with people understanding what network marketing is, that they call it a pyramid scheme, share the objections and your reasoning and the way you combat that objection publicly. Use a powerful image to represent it, a selfie of you. This is, again, selfie with a story, selfie with battling objection should be number 2 on that, because it's important that you kind of pick apart why people are hesitant to join a challenge group, why they're hesitant to drink Shakeology, why they're hesitant to join as a coach publicly. And you could also do this on Instagram stories, but we'll save that for tomorrow. It's, I think, an important aspect of content as you're building your Instagram account, that you every so often, as you breadcrumb into an invite, remember this is what we're doing. We're breadcrumbing to the right hook. And that right hook is either a challenge group post or a business opportunity post, that you're breadcrumbing all the aspects of your story. And this is a big part of the story. Yeah? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. That was a good call. Good call on that one.
Yeah.
You see how we work, guys? Because we're talking, it's like, oh yeah, and
yeah.
this.
I mean, a lot of things just pop into your head. And you know, a lot of teams, a lot of social media trainings that I have been a part of or seen, you know, they float around and you grab hold of them. They have like a checklist, like Monday, do X, Y, Z, check, 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 right? Post your fitness, post a quote, post a recipe, post this. Tuesday, post your fitness, post a quote, post a recipe. And I don't like to do that. While that is easy, right, to say, oh, I did it, check, 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 check. I think that every day is different. Every day you feel something different. Every day is an opportunity to share something you learn on your journey, to do and relate at another level than just a check mark on a box and saying, I did it, right? So while some other people will give you a checklist of what to do, I think Monica and I, our point is that you have to be the CEO, and you have to take a look at where you are and how you want to come across on your Instagram on a daily basis, right? Is to give you a blueprint, right? Not like Monica, what was that analogy you used to say? Like the recipe, right? If you want to share that.
That was when we were talking about yesterday. We're going to give you guys a bunch of ingredients to make your social media impactful, right? Ingredients, tons of different things that you can do. But it's up to you to pick what ingredients you're going to use that day to make that meal, or that post. So it's up to you to throw in to the bowl what you want. You really are in control. And Christy, talking about what you just said right now, this morning I did a post that's just like that. Like, there's no Monday through Saturday or Sunday that you could have given me to say you're going to have a shit morning, and here's a way you could talk about the fact that you have the freedom to just take a nap and recharge and start over, And I wrote about that this morning, and that's impactful in many ways for what I represent, right? So I'm gonna share with them, Christy, a key piece of advice you once gave me. You probably don't remember saying it to me, but we were sitting by the pool, and I'll never forget it. We were there talking about business, and you said to me, Monica, you need to start paying attention to the details of your life. Like the everyday stuff that a lot of us just overlook. Pay attention to the details. And when you realize you've got some kind of story, write it down. And when you're ready to sit down and pull it out of you, you do. But make sure that you keep a running list of these things that you paid attention to. And guys, it could be, there's so many things that can happen to you on an everyday basis that you can turn around and plug into one of these ideas to be able to breadcrumb a piece of your story out. Just pay attention to the details of life and have enough ownership of your business and of your message and ownership of who you are to be able to get out there and share those things when appropriate.
I love that. Damn, that was good advice on my part. All right. So that was content. There's a lot that we talked about. We're gonna do the colorful wheel as an exercise as a group. Monica or I will share the wheel itself, so you could print it out or just put it up on like Canva or PicMonkey and type in what you the descriptors of yourself, so that you can then look at it. That's something I would post right next to my computer so that I can remind myself, like, oh, share more of that aspect of my life with my audience. So we're gonna do that. I hope that was helpful for you. Tomorrow we're gonna talk all about Instagram stories. We're gonna go to the back of the house of Instagram and have fun with that. So tomorrow we make it fun. Today we make it valuable. I hope you guys enjoyed that. We will talk to you later.
Bye, guys.